Well, another significant outcome of the two sessions is that Chinese lawmakers approved the 13th five-year plan. It's a blueprint for China's economic and social development through the year 2020. To explain it, I'm joined by correspondent Wang Guan. Wang Guan, set the stage for us. What does this plan tell us about China's economy?
Well, Rochelle, this plan was laid out by the Communist Party last year during the Party Congress and now voted into law, obviously. And a key message Beijing is sending that it wants to maintain a growth rate above 6.5% for the next 5 years. And that goal is to increase the GDP per capita of China from more than $8,000 a year to around $10,000 by 2020. On social policy, Beijing says in the next 5 years, it wants basic health insurance to go from 95%, the coverage rate, to universal health care. That's, of course, easier said than done. Over 270 million Chinese are migrant workers who cannot file insurance or who cannot easily do so in their native towns and villages while working in their resident cities. Now, on infrastructure, China will expand its high-speed rail system from around 20,000 kilometers to around 30,000 in 2020. And these trains actually shall make a difference in travel time. It takes 1 hour and 20 minutes, for example, to go from Beijing to East China's Shandong province. That's roughly the same distance as the trip from DC to New York Penn Station. But that trip, as we know, they can take 3.5 hours on regular trains. So bullet trains that China has been building can hit speeds over 300 kilometers or 200 miles an hour. But still, most of the times, it's pretty smooth ride. Take a look at this video shot by a Swedish passenger that is posted on YouTube. I think that's a video from Beijing to Shanghai that this passenger was recording. He erected a coin there, and as you can see, hours later, when it hits 200 miles per hour, it's still there.
Very smooth. Now, Wang Guan, the new five-year plan starts this year. Has the government set specific targets for 2016?
Well, yes, Rochelle, for 2016, the growth target is a range, not a specific number. It's from 6.5% to 7%, and that's the lowest pace in 25 years. But still, that's the fastest growth rate among the world's major economies, even though China now grows from a much larger base. To achieve those goals, Beijing says it will use a combination of executive orders, fiscal stimulus, and monetary policy. The fiscal policy will be more forceful, Beijing says, an increase in deficit ratio from around 2.3% in 2015 to 3% of the GDP this year. Now, personal income tax and real estate tax are also expected to be lowered, though we still don't know how much exactly will be lowered. And on the monetary side, Beijing says it will be prudent, but they will exercise more flexibility. With these policies, Beijing hopes to cope with its economic challenges, some of them very serious, such as excess industrial capacity. So this year, we shouldn't really be surprised if we see Beijing take steps to restructure and phase out some of those so-called zombie state-owned firms. Most of them are in the steel and coal industries, and an estimated 5 to 6 million Chinese workers could be laid off. And to prevent mass unemployment, Premier Li said a fund of 100 billion yuan, that is more than $15 billion, will be allocated to help those workers find new jobs. And China will increase the fund if necessary.